Welcome to the ReachX podcast. My name is Matthew Jervis and I am the Chief Commercial Officer at ReachX. Today, we are honored to receive Edward Altman, the Max Heine Professor of Finance at New York University Stern School of Business. Dr. Altman was named as one of the 100 most influential people in finance, and he's a leading authority on distressed debt and corporate bankruptcies. Over 50 years ago, Professor Altman created the Altman Z-score, a tool predicting the probability of bankruptcy, which is still getting over 10,000 hits per day on Bloomberg. Professor Altman, thank you for being with us today. Over the past few years, corporates in the US and globally have benefited from relatively easy financing. In your mind, where are we in the credit cycle and what are your concerns going forward?
I believe we are still in a benign credit cycle, and we have been actually for over 8 years. We're into the 9th year, which is the longest in the history of modern financial markets. Low default rates, high recovery rates if there are defaults, low interest rates and required rates of return for investors, and finally, high liquidity. Those are the four metrics I look at. So we're in a benign cycle, and we'll probably remain there for at least another year. My concerns are beyond that period, based on the enormous buildup in debt globally and particularly in the US markets. And that is my biggest concern, that when there will be a shift from a benign cycle to a stress cycle, the impact will be significant because of the high levels of debt that have been built up ever since the last crisis. For example, corporate bonds and loans have grown exponentially since 2009 and now represent perhaps 10 trillion US dollars in the US. And globally, non-financial corporate debt as a percentage of the GDP output of a country have grown dramatically from 46% 20 years ago to over 90% today. And that's true also in government debt and household debt in some countries. So my biggest concern is when there is a downturn, and I think it probably will come somewhere between 1 and 2 years from now in the US and perhaps China, when these take place, there will be a big shift in the credit cycle from benign to stressed.
Thank you very much, Professor, and thank you for talking to us today.
My pleasure.